for example, is at war with the country from where you come. We believe that if you are in the military of Uganda and commanding the army, and we are attacking your home country, then the law, Uganda says, no, this man might not be in position to command our army very well.
I think that law has to evolve with the world.
Alenyo also wants Parliament to amend Rule 171 of its Rules of Procedure, which requires the Appointments Committee to conduct its work in camera. He says greater transparency would help the public understand how decisions are reached and reduce speculation surrounding the approval or rejection of nominees.
In Kenya, it's Chief Justice proceedings. The whole country is following how the Chief Justice is being vetted. So I believe that Rule 171, if I address my mind well, needs to be revisited. So that
Alenyo stresses that even after submitting a request to renounce citizenship, applicants can still be rejected because the final decision rests with the country they intend to leave.
Still about the same, some ministers designate with dual citizenship say they renounced after being appointed to cabinet, but questions remain whether they renounced after appointment or months before. And if before, did they know a cabinet post was coming? Tonight on Live@9, we break down the process of renouncing US and Canadian citizenship, the steps, the timelines, and what approval really takes. Let's take a look at the process. Now, looking at the tax compliance, we'll go through that. The person wishing to renounce a US citizenship must file tax returns for the past 5 years and complete the final return, including Form 8854. Now, on to the next process. You then prepare for your appointment. He or she must schedule an appointment at a local U.S. embassy or consulate and submit necessary documents, including proof of U.S. citizenship and tax compliance records. They should also pay the renunciation fee. The person wishing to renounce a U.S. citizenship must bear the cost to renounce a U.S. citizenship, which is $450 US. They should also attend the renunciation appointment. They must attend a renunciation appointment where they formally declare intent to renounce and will receive a certificate of loss of nationality. And processing time for the certificate of loss of nationality can range from a few weeks to several months. Now, away from that, a rift has emerged within the ruling NRM party following President Yoweri Museveni's announcement of a new cabinet. Members who lost in the primaries but dropped their independent bids after alleged promises of ministerial posts are now frustrated after missing out. They accuse the party of failing to honor its commitments. The NRM, however, has urged aggrieved members to use internal party channels to raise their concerns.
The group operating under the banner of Buganda Museveni advanced team says it played a key role in mobilizing support for President Museveni across Buganda during the 2026 general election campaigns. According to the members, their political fortunes changed after losing in the highly contested NRM primaries, which they claim were marred by violence, bribery and intimidation. However, they say a series of engagement with senior NRM leaders culminated in a meeting with President Museveni at State House in Entebbe, convinced them to abandon independent bids and rally behind official NRM flag bearers. The group alleges that during those discussions, they were assured of consideration for ministerial appointments and other government positions in exchange for their support.
We had to go to meet the president. We had lunch together, we had the supper together with the HE. The president told me and others to whom we are together that he's going to appoint us at the same position of a member of parliament. Because our interest was we are contesting for member of parliament.
Now, following the release of the new cabinet list, these members feel abandoned and betrayed.
We become disappointed. When we saw a list of the ministers who were released, we thought that we are supposed to be there, but we are surprised.
Now we are seeing the ministers, now they are celebrating the honorables who are given positions. to work as minister, state minister, and so on. And I'm asking myself, where am I?
The disappointed members argue that they help secure significant gain for the NRM in Buganda, a region where the opposition had previously enjoyed strong support. They claim beyond appointments, promise of logistical facilitations and transport allowances have also not been fulfilled.
You know, NRM have that policy of use, dump, ignore, and then recycle. So I'm worried of that system. They've been using that system several times. That's why I'm saying I don't have any kind word for now.
The group is now demanding that the ruling party addresses what it describes as unfulfilled commitments made during the campaign period.
At least they would have given us to be ambassadors and other jobs or commissioners.
However, the NRM leadership does not deny holding meetings with the group, but maintains that their concerns should be raised through the internal party channels.
Such kind of people, like people who were persuaded not to go independent, exist. Now, when it exists, promises were made. The promises will stand. So I urge them to listen to the president and wait. And therefore, the formation of the government, starting from the top executive, the cabinet, is still ongoing. Though the government is not yet fully formed.
The disgruntled group say that many other loyalists who accepted similar promises in exchange for stepping down remain silent, yet continue to bear the same disappointment behind closed doors. It ever remains to be seen whether these grievances will fracture the party cohesion in Buganda.
Political scholar Reverend Dr. Simon Feta says Uganda's post-election rows have exposed weaknesses not only within the ruling NRM but across the country's political parties. Reverend Feta argues that the growing public scrutiny is a sign of inactive party systems and failure by parties to address citizens' concerns and needs.
The lessons for the country are glaring. Two things, and I'll add a third one. One is that it speaks to whether party system works. Party system has cracks that they must fix. Party candidature must re-evaluate themselves to see if they truly understand the party they look for, or they were attracted by the monetary glamouring that drew them and they thought that they could have a quick relief in the begetting of interest and colouring in a vote and then make ends meet. And that can be a very, very dangerous atmosphere, and which it seems to be the case. But a third angle is for the population to look that actually the political parties have a big gap, because much as they stand and people stand on political party tickets, the gripping of the hearts, of the minds, to be won over to political parties, it's still a very loose end. Many citizens still feel that the political parties are not yet meeting the needs of the basic citizen.
Away from politics, scientists from Makerere University are intensifying research in Karamoja amidst growing concern over the spread of a deadly disease transmitted by sandflies. Now commonly known as Kalaza, it continues to threaten lives across the region. Amdat Hospital is now crowded with patients from pastoral communities of Karamoja, neighboring Kenya and South Sudan.
As night falls in the Karamoja sub-region, a team of scientists quietly heads into the field, carrying traps and research equipment. Their mission is to track the tiny sandflies responsible for spreading one of the world's deadliest neglected tropical diseases.
Right now we have set these traps in Kakadama. This is a village where we got 4 patients of visceral leishmaniasis. So we have set here so many traps, there are like 23 in Kakadama, to trap exactly the sandfly.
The disease known as visceral leishmaniasis or Kala-Aza is fatal in more than 95% of cases if left untreated. Victims often suffer prolonged fever, severe weight loss, enlargement of the spleen, liver and anemia.
With fever of 2 or more weeks, splenomegaly, wasting, nose bleeding at times. They have secondary infections where they have respiratory tract infections. And of course, malnutrition is a major driver for development of Kala-Azar as a disease.
At Amdat Hospital, which is the regional treatment center, patients arrive from as far as Kenya and South Sudan seeking life-saving treatment.
The patients we receive almost every day, and when they come, they have the distended abdomen, of course, because of the splenomegaly and hepatomegaly.
Leading the field research is James Robert Ucheng and his team. Each evening, they place sandfly traps in affected communities and leave them overnight. By 5 a.m. the next morning, the researchers return to collect the trapped insects for laboratory analysis.
We bring the traps in the hotspot communities and then we put them in grounds which are preferred by the sandflies, like their breeding grounds. Usually we target the anthills, we target where there are balanite trees, the acacia trees, and then also where the livestock are and the domestic settings like in the human houses.
Scientists hope this research funded by World Health Organization will help develop more effective prevention strategies and reduce transmission in high-risk communities.
Why we have this facility is that because it helps us to determine the changes in the geographical distribution and densities of these vectors that cause diseases to man. It also helps us to evaluate the control programs which are in place.
Currently, treatment for Kala-Azar in Karamoja remains extremely expensive and is largely supported by Drugs for Neglected Diseases Initiative, commonly known as the NDI. Health experts warn that poverty, poor housing conditions, and limited awareness continue to increase vulnerability to the disease. With this research, understanding the behavior of sandflies could become a major breakthrough in the fight against Kala-Azar, a disease that continues to silently threaten vulnerable communities in Karamoja.
Bunyoro Kitara Kingdom officials and Hoima City leaders have urged government to prioritize construction of Hoima City and District hospitals, citing severe congestion at Hoima Regional Referral Hospital. The officials say that Hoima Regional Referral Hospital serves the entire Bunyoro sub-region, leaving city residents with limited access to quality care. The leaders are also pushing for legal reforms to allow city authorities joint supervisory powers over the referral hospital.
Hoima City, Hoima District and Chikube District have no district hospitals. Patients needing specialized care have no option but to crowd Hoima Regional Referral Hospital, which is already overwhelmed from all the 9 districts of Bunyoro sub-region. But while Hoima and Chikube districts have health center 4s, Hoima City only has health center 3s with limited services. With no mid-level facility, city residents now use the referral hospital as their first point of care. Many complain of long waits, bed shortages, and poor service. It's against this background that Hoima City leaders and Bunyoro Kitara Kingdom want the government to prioritize construction of a city and district hospital to reduce pressure on the referral hospital.
Government promised that this year, this financial year, we shall have a Hoima district hospital. So the Kigorobia hospital needs to be upgraded from a health center 4 to a hospital level. But also Hoima City doesn't have a hospital.
But we should get a Hoima City hospital, our own hospital, where our people go. Here we have people from Kibare, Masindi, Kagadi, Kakumiro.
The leaders equally want the central government to allow local governments to supervise the referral hospital.
You know that we, the local leaders, we don't supervise referral hospitals. These hospitals, they picked them and took them in the hands of the central managers.
Hoima City Resident Commissioner Badru Mugabi says the government is aware of the need for improved healthcare in the city, noting that there are a number of health centers that are due for upgrade to Health Center 4 and hospital status.
So once we finish this, I will only have to add the theater and wards. To qualify this Health Center 3 to be accredited or to be due for accreditation to a Health Center 4.
We are aware that the government has increased the wage bill regarding the health workers. And so we believe strongly that we are going to employ more people.
They are also demanding for increased budget allocations to local governments with a focus on agriculture, roads, and other social services. They argue that boosting funding now is critical to improving Bunyoro's infrastructure and service delivery ahead of the AFCON 2027 and fast oil production.
We want mechanization. We want tractors, we want threshers, harvesters, we want the market.
More to come.
When we come back, we'll be looking at opposition members of parliament that are entering the 12th parliament that are being challenged to embrace a more assertive role in holding government accountable. That story will be coming up after the break. Live at 9 takes a short break, and we'll be back with more stories.
And that's it for today. Till the next episode.
Like a daily bando, like a daily bando, like a daily bando. Omuliro nguwulira muli mu mutima kukankana like drums. Kalakata, kalakata, endongo yakusabula. We gonna do free on fire, free on fire, free on
In 30 seconds, I'll tell you why you have until the 30th of June 2026. First, the 30th of June is your deadline to file your tax returns for the financial year ending 2025-2026. Don't wait. Late filing means errors, and errors mean penalties. Second, if you have an outstanding tax, pay your principal by the 30th of June 2026, and URA will give you a 100% tax waiver. No interest, no penalties, gone. File and pay now at www.ura.go.ug.
Developing Uganda together.
You will always know when you're in the presence of the finest. It's like time slows down, just enough for you to feel everything in full flavor.
Tusker Malt Lager. Alcohol is not for certain persons under 18. Please drink responsibly.
Sorry, the number you have called is currently switched off. Please try again later.
The Kaman is not picking up my calls. He has now switched off his phone. He looked legit, so I paid him 500k to process my NSSF money. How dare you!
Why pay for someone else's repairs? Say goodbye to hidden costs and hello to peace of mind of a brand new start. Discover the Suzuki range of unmatched, fuel-efficient and reliable options. From the iconic Jimny to the new Across Hybrid. Find the perfect blend of style and world-class efficiency. Upgrade today and enjoy 1 year of free fuel and comprehensive insurance, plus 2 years of free service and a 3-year warranty. Trade in your current car or choose financing to start driving as you pay installments. Don't wait. Visit the Suzuki showroom today or call 0800 211 033 to get started.
Today we are in Makerere College School and we've got our winner, and that is none other than Michelle. I am sure you've already gotten the school fees and the excitement is already there. Thank you so much.
Bitufu JBD. Michelle has won school fees for a year. Never Zaba Momo. 3 times paid, cleared.
You can also stand a chance to win. You simply have to dial *165 *80 hash or use the Momo app. Schools that accept students to pay school fees using Momo also stand a chance to win a van. Pay your school fees. You never know, you could be the lucky winner.
Welcome back. In other stories, opposition members of parliament entering the 12th parliament are being challenged to embrace a more assertive role in holding government accountable despite their numerical disadvantage in the House. Political leaders argue that effective opposition requires more than eloquent debate, urging legislators to combine parliamentary oversight with activism and resist the lure of political privileges, as well as remain focused on advancing accountability and democratic governance.
As the 12th Parliament settles into its new term, some opposition leaders are calling for a more confrontational approach in holding government accountable, arguing that the opposition's relatively small numbers in the House should not be mistaken for weakness. The leaders contend that parliamentary engagement alone may not be sufficient to influence government policy and insist that activism must remain a key pillar in opposition politics.
If you have a number of 550 plus and the strength you are commanding is roughly 60, going by the numbers that voted for you, then your work is cut out. You are swimming upstream. So you've got to change tactic. You've got to have a different strategy. And this is why I am imploring my colleague, the Right Honorable Joel Senyonyi, to be a little more combative, a little more aggressive.
They argue that opposition legislators should avoid seeking approval from the ruling establishment and instead focus on providing firm and consistent resistance to policies they believe do not serve the interests of Ugandans.
Most of the Ugandans are peasants. So when you take yourself to be very wise, when you come every morning, you're in a suit and what of you, the Ugandans will not understand exactly what you are up to. They want you to fight for them. They want you to lobby for them.
He should command the team to avoid what I would term as bipartisan hypocrisy. This flattery that for you're a good opposition. You are not like these other bad opposition. You're a reasonable person. You're a gentleman. The way you dress, the way you speak, the way you carry yourself, for intents and purposes, you're a gentleman. You are not these extremists.
Become a referee for all of us.
They also maintain that while strong communication skills and eloquent debate are important, they are not enough to effectively check the executive.
When he comes out to speak on a particular matter, he's authoritative, he's assertive, yes, and he's well-grounded, but he needs to be more of an activist.
They have also cautioned legislators against becoming preoccupied with the privileges that come with public office, including allowances, foreign travel, and other benefits. Instead, they urge lawmakers to remain focused on the broader struggle for accountability and democratic governance.
They want to use this carrot and stick method. It has always been practiced in the House. These smaller benefits, like trips, like trappings that come with positions you hold in Parliament, if you're chair of the committee.
The newly appointed Health Minister, Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, has pledged to make the welfare of medics a top priority, promising swift action to address long-standing concerns surrounding internship and working conditions. Dr. Baryomunsi says he will spend his first 100 days visiting health facilities across the country and stakeholder engagement to identify challenges firsthand and develop practical solutions for the medical fraternity. This week on NBS on Health, our health reporter Henry Mugenyi sat down with Dr. Chris Baryomunsi to discuss his vision for Uganda's health sector, his priorities as a new minister, and the reforms he hopes to champion in the months ahead.
Very good evening to you who's watching us today. My name is Henry Mugenyi, and today things are different because one, I am sitting with a new health minister that is yet to take his oath. But after vetting, we had a conversation, and I want us to really extend that conversation to what his vision looks like for the health sector. Doctor, a very good evening. Nice serving you.
Thank you very much, Henry, and thank you, NBS, for hosting me.
Congratulations. And where do you begin from?
A lot of work has been done, and I want to thank the Honorable Jenna Cheng and her team. I think they have done a good job. The health sector has been making progress, and I will start from where they have reached. And the work is well cut out for me. There is a lot of work to do in the health sector because the health sector is one of those that touches the lives of people directly. So there are many things to do, meaning we address issues of the workforce, the health workforce being there. We address the issues of drugs and other pharmaceutical supplies which are needed to be there in terms of quantity, in terms of quality, and in terms of ensuring that we have the health workers to prescribe all this. We have to address issues of infrastructure because there is a standing policy that every health center, every sub-county, for instance, should have a health center 3, every county to have a health center 4, and every district to have a district general hospital, and all those. So we have also to look at the infrastructure. But most importantly, we have to look at the prevailing disease burden, which is a mixture of what we call communicable diseases and non-communicable diseases, that are on the rise both ways. And we must mount a huge campaign on health promotion so that we strengthen the preventive health care, because most of the illnesses that afflict Ugandans are preventable.
Doctor, when we look at you specifically, you're coming to a ministry that has been in the public eye, and this is what you're inheriting. Looking at your first 100 days, what are your priorities that you're focusing on?
The first 100 days, there are challenges that are there today. The first one, Ebola. We have to make sure that we work very hard and contain this outbreak and declare Uganda Ebola-free. Although that will depend on the effort within the country, but also the regional collaboration, because we know the epicenter of this outbreak is not in Uganda, it's in the DRC, in Congo, and therefore we have to collaboratively work with the authorities in Congo to stamp out this Ebola outbreak. The other issue will be to clarify the question of the medical interns, their allowances, because it's also an issue which is in the public. But I want to clarify that the decision which was taken, given the growing numbers, was that the government shall continue paying allowances for those medical interns who have been on government sponsorship in the universities. And then I have looked at the decision of cabinet. They also tasked the Minister of Health to study the financial implications if the medical interns that were privately sponsored, the private universities, are to be given lunch, how much it would cost the government. So I have some work to undertake in that area and be able to clarify to the medical interns and students, so that also we will have to sort it out so there is harmony between the government and the interns.
On that very point, Doctor, your fellow doctors out there are pointing you out that in 1995, you led a strike that led to the changes in the health sector, all for the medical interns, where from you were paid 90K to 180. But right now, they seem to think that you, the health professionals that are out there, are not really fighting for them. How true is this?
Well, the strike they are referring to in 1995, yes, there was a strike. Yes, I was one of the leaders of the medical workers, but it was about the general welfare of all health workers, not only interns. But that aside, we look into the future, not necessarily into the past. It's not true that I don't care or we don't care for the welfare of interns and health workers. You know, just recently we have enhanced the pay of health workers and other scientists. And we are the ones who have been pushing for this. I know what is troubling the health workers is this issue of medical interns, whether to be paid allowances or not. That discussion has taken place within the government in light of the many training institutions, many medical schools that are producing doctors, pharmacists, nurses. I think there has been that discussion on whether government can afford to pay the interns, particularly those who have been government-sponsored at the university and those from private universities. And I've given you the clarification on what the government decided. But as a new Minister of Health, I will study this policy position, and then we come out with the definitive measures to harmonize the relationship between the government and the doctors.
When you look at our doctor-patient ratio, one doctor in Uganda is catering for over 25,000 currently, and the Uganda Medical Association is castigating authorities or people at the Ministry of Health, the one you're inheriting, that they seem not to be managing the bumper harvest well. How do you intend to manage this?
Gone are the days where when you completed medical school, automatically you would be posted to a hospital. That has changed. And the resultant effect is that we have many health workers who are not deployed. In Uganda, probably we have more doctors on the street than those who are deployed in health facilities. So it's a challenge. We have discussed this in cabinet. I have personally raised it in the cabinet. And we took a decision that we should try to absorb as many doctors, and when I say doctors, it also moves with the other health workers, as many as possible, and have doctors deployed at the level of a health center 3 in a sub-county. What will be my preoccupation, therefore, will be to see that enough resources are allocated to that effect, that the government should up the wage bill to cater for that, so that we absorb all these doctors. But also, I will study the viability and possibility of engaging some other countries outside that are in the critical need of the medical human resource, so that we can even deploy some of these in other countries. I know people will say, but do you have enough to cater for that doctor-patient ratio? In case we find we cannot raise adequate resources to absorb everybody, then we can also engage. I know there are many countries which are doing this, engaging with the other countries, and maybe some of the excess capacity can be deployed there, because it is quite disheartening for one to spend 5 years at a university studying medicine and 1 year doing internship, and at the end of the day, you just open a grocery shop in Chikubo, and that is your preoccupation. You are not able to practice the profession. But also, we have to see how to create an enabling environment to facilitate health workers go into private sector, start their own private medical facilities if they can't be absorbed by government. And therefore we must create incentives. For instance, can we put an arrangement where 5 or 10 doctors can combine and start a medical facility, and then there are incentives from government to make it easy for them to start that kind of service. I don't want to call it a business, because healthcare is not necessarily a business, but a service to the people. But also, the other important point, which probably has been a gap, is the planning function. We need to study the rate at which our population is growing in Uganda, and then we estimate how many health workers do we need in the next 5, 10, 20, 30 years, so that we guide appropriately how many, for instance, medical students should the universities be taking up. How many nurses do we need to train in 5 years and 10 years?
Now, you've been pushing from outside, and now you are the center of the sector. Many are still wondering that why isn't the country really having any health insurance scheme? Is this a priority you're giving focus in your term?
That discussion has been on in the government, including in the cabinet, but it has taken long to have the final decision taken.
Over 10 years?
Yes, over 10 years. There have been lots of consultations, and we shall take it up from where it is by engaging His Excellency the President and explaining to him to appreciate this point, and also explaining to Cabinet to understand the point of the importance of introducing a health insurance, and hopefully we should be able to generate consensus within the government, because there is no consensus at the moment.
Just a few years ago, a few years back, when you got an ailment, you were airlifted from your community to a better health facility. What is your plan for these health centers deep down in the village, deep down in Kanungu, Kambuga, wherever, airlifting someone from there up to Kampala? How do you leave those people?
Yes, actually, maybe let me clarify the airlifting. The airlifting was not because I didn't get a service in Kambuga Hospital where I was rushed. I was in the constituency and got a blackout. I was rushed to Kambuga Hospital, and I was attended to by the doctors and the health workers, and actually gained my consciousness in the hospital. So they did a very good job. But my family and friends who were in Kampala, I think, got scared and mobilized resources and chartered a helicopter. And actually I objected to it when I gained the consciousness. They told me a helicopter is coming to pick you. I said, no, it's not necessary. I am already getting okay. So I can just spend the night in the hospital. In the morning I drive to Kampala. I said, no. See, by the time we are telling you, the helicopter is already in Mbarara coming. So I could not stop it. That's how it came. And then the others were saying, can we fly you to Nairobi? I said, no, take me to Marago, because that's our hospital. And I came to Marago, and he was taken care of. But you raised a very important point of the need to improve the services in our health facilities down at the lowest level, because yes, I may be a minister of health, but you can collapse from anywhere. Like I did in Kanungu. You could be in Karamboja, you collapse there, in West Nile, myself or any other person. So the nearest health facility should be able to provide quality services to save the life of whoever comes there, whether it's me who has collapsed or an ordinary Ugandan who just goes to access health care in that facility. And that's why I'm saying we shall devote our energies, one, on enhancing the budget, and so that we address those critical areas to ensure that health workers are available, the medicines are available, the infrastructure is there, the appropriate equipment is there to test and make diagnosis.
Thank you very much, Minister for Health. You used words of Professor Omaswa when he was still the Director General, that health is made at home, but also broken. To you that has been watching us, you've had the commitments for the new health minister. Now, it is time to work, time to see, time to assess his commitments for the health sector, but also to the Ugandans out there at large. But back to you at the Political Command Center. My name is Henry Mugenyi.
Thank you very much, Henry Mugenyi. Still matters health. Kasangati Health Center 4 has struggled for years under heavy patient loads and limited resources despite serving hundreds daily from Wakiso, Luweero and beyond. Now, Kasangati Greater Lions Club has stepped in with a donation of medical equipment worth millions and a full renovation of the facility's operating theatre to boost service delivery.
Kasangati Health Center 4 is one of the largest government health facilities in Kasangati Town Council, Wakiso District. The facility serves hundreds of patients daily, a situation that has raised concerns over its capacity to adequately meet the increasing healthcare demands of the growing population. According to the in-charge Kasangati Health Center 4, Dr. Roslyn Akugizibwe, the health facility receives hundreds of patients every day from Kasangati Town Council and beyond, thus exerting pressure on available resources.
Problem probably is because we have very high numbers, and this is because we get patients from all over the place, patients that were not budgeted to be on Kasangati, like patients from Mukono, patients from as far as the Luweero side of Zirobwe.
In support of the health facility, the Kasangati Greater Lions Club donated medical equipment including 2 hospital beds, a cesarean section, surgical set, sterilization, drums and other essential items worth millions of shillings to enhance service delivery. The Lions Club also extended support towards the renovation of the Kasangati Health Center 4 operating theatre, a critical unit for the emergency surgeries and maternal healthcare services in the area. The renovation project is expected to cost more than 60 million shillings.
Renovation of the health center's only operating theatre was one of the most important and urgent needs that they had, and we were touched by the state in which it is, given the magnitude of patients that are coming in for different operations.
Following the donation, the club conducted a leadership handover ceremony in which Adrian Chidabo Kamhanda officially assumed office as the new president of the Kasangati Greater Lions Club, succeeding Patrick Muganga. Kamhanda pledged to steer the club towards achieving its mission of serving communities.
The Mufti of Uganda, Sheikh Shaban Ramadan Mubaje, has called for unity of purpose among political and cultural leaders in the Bugisu sub-region. The Mufti urged them to abandon the divisions and intrigue that have for years undermined the region's collective voice and development agenda.
It was a vibrant and colorful gathering marked by music, dance and excitement as hundreds of supporters thronged Nakaluke Playground for the Thanksgiving ceremony of Umar Nangoli. The event attracted a cross-section of leaders including political figures, religious leaders, cultural representatives, security commanders and local government officials, reflecting Nangoli's growing influence within the region.
God gave me this leadership. I thank him for enabling the voters. Out of 9 candidates, they chose me.
Speaking as chief guest, the Mufti of Uganda, Sheikh Shaban Ramadan Mubaje, used the occasion to deliver a message of unity, urging leaders across Bugisu to put aside personal differences and work together for the region's development. The Mufti himself, a son of Bugisu, expressed concern over persistent divisions among leaders from the region, saying internal wrangles have weakened collective lobbying efforts and slowed development. He called upon members of parliament, ministers and local leaders to work together and speak with one voice on matters affecting the region. His message was echoed by Mbale Diocese Bishop John Nanda, who also appealed for reconciliation and cooperation among leaders.
The members of parliament from this region, tubasaba mukolere wamu, be united, work together as a team.
Mubaje further expressed concern about the ongoing disputes within the Bugisu Cultural Institution, saying conflicts over the cultural throne have deepened divisions within the community.
You sort it out.
In an apparent reference to the Karamajonga and Shit scandal, the implicated former ministers Agnes Nandutu and Goretich Tutu, Mubaje cautioned newly appointed leaders from Bugisu against corruption. Political leaders, led by the chairperson of the Bugisu Parliamentary Caucus, Godfrey Wakoli Matembu, pledged to strengthen cohesion among legislators from the region, while the newly appointed ministers Lydia Wanyoto and Simon Mulongo pledged cooperation.
This time round, we are going to walk the talk.
Bugisu Parliament kati
tuli local breed abazzeewo kati tiimu local breed.
Uganda continues to lose to its environment, with wetlands being drained for rice, forests cleared for charcoal and farmland, and plastic waste choking rivers and cities. But in an effort to push back, the National Environment Management Authority and Uganda Bati Limited have launched a photography competition aimed at raising public awareness on environmental protection and conservation. NEMA's Assistant Commissioner for Environmental Education and Advocacy, Wilbert Ilakai, says the campaign will use powerful images to inform and educate Ugandans about conservation and sustainable practices.
The initiative is actually feeding into the mandate of NEMA, and that is why I want to thank Safal Uganda Bati Foundation for this. This is very great. I want to appreciate what you're doing so much. A picture is worth 1,000 words. As we do our work as NEMA, we use pictures for reporting, and I want to tell you that the recent actions that have been taken was a result of the pictures that some other people had taken and shared with NEMA. So you can see how this is important.
Storytellers, young people, and communities, and different companies, if you're there, come, let's join hands to conserve the environment. And we are taking this stance of using photography as an anchor to ensure that we create awareness in the region about environmental conservation. This is your opportunity to tell Africa's story through your lens and shape the future. So submit before the 20th of June, and we shall celebrate you on the 15th of July.
In our top stories tonight, a debate over dual citizenship and eligibility for public office reignites questions about the process of renouncing a foreign nationality. And NRM loyalists cry foul after missing out on ministerial appointments. We also looked at the new opposition MPs that challenged the government to hold the challenge opposition members to hold government accountable. Those were our top stories for tonight. Love at 9 takes another short break. We'll be back with more stories, including business and sport.
Oi! There's only one Vinny J.
Football is better with Pepsi. Pepsi, thirsty for more.
I enjoy to look after myself by coming to Don's Organic Spa for massage, pedicure and manicure, facials, saloon, like they have it all here. Sometimes I come with my girlfriends twice a week and I feel so refreshed, renewed. Like I'm just so happy that this place is full of life. It's full of life. That's all I can say.
Your dog gives you their whole heart, so protect theirs with Sweeko Dog Insurance, because every slobbery kiss and happy tail wag deserves a lifetime of care. From accidents to illnesses, we're here to help. Statewide Insurance Company, protecting your family one paw at a time. For more details, visit www.sweeko.co.ug. Statewide Insurance Company is regulated by the Insurance Regulatory Authority of Uganda.
June is Budget Month, a defining moment for Uganda's economy. Under the theme, For Monetization of Uganda's Economy, the 2026-2027 National Budget focuses on commercial agriculture, industrialization, digital transformation, and market access. This June, Next Media brings you 26.
Looking for a vacation of a lifetime? Cross the equator and discover Pineapple Bay Resort. Enjoy exceptional life's luxuries. Spend quality time with family, friends, or even that special someone. Get in touch with nature with our range of outdoor activities. The calming tranquility of water, breathtaking views, moving memories around campfires. It's all here. Plus, a club experience like no other at Pineapple Bay Clubhouse. It's a whole vibe. You can hire any of our 3 VIP cruise boats for groups of 10, 14, or 25 people. Or you can cruise out with swag on a luxury yacht for 12 people. Our premium boats are all safety compliant. Make your next vacay an all-round experience at Pineapple Bay, located on Bulago Island, right in the midst of Lake Victoria. Talk to us today.
Better study tips. Scammers love posing as officials from banks or government agencies. Never share sensitive information with unsolicited callers. For hang-up, find the official contact and verify their identity first. In partnership with Uganda Communications Commission and NBS.
The Uganda Vocational and Technical Assessment Board has wrapped up the assessment of employment-led technical and vocational education programs. The focus was on real-life projects and practical skills taking center stage at institutions like Uganda Technical College Bushenyi and Rentanga Farm Institute. Students were evaluated on competencies that matter in the field despite challenges flagged by school heads.
At the Uganda Technical College in Bushenyi, that was made the center of excellence in manufacturing. The government continues to invest heavily in the vocational training with focus on employment-led technical and vocational education. Nangobi Edith, a student at UTC, pursuing a competency-based certificate in industrial manufacturing operations, demonstrates that theory is good, but hands-on skills is the way to go.
Do the course, upgrade on my skills.
Nangobi, who is set to produce 20 bars of soap, narrates the journey of this achievement despite challenges.
I can also now make things on my own, given our machine operate in any other manufacturing industry.
According to Naris Aijuka Kambaho, the head of communication at TVET overseeing the process, the new assessment framework strictly prioritizes hands-on execution over theoretical examinations.
This is to make sure that what these institutions are training on in line with what the industry wants.
With a population of over 1,700 students at UTC Bushenyi, the evaluation focused on infrastructure, fabrication, engineering and manufacturing solutions designed by students to address community needs.
So there has been a transition that in the other days there used to be no practical-based students, used to find practicals in the industry. But nowadays here, a student can come, he knows how a machine goes like.
Meanwhile, at Ruentanga Farm Institute in Mbarara, the focus shifted to agricultural value addition and student-led agribusiness incubation ventures.
In our training, we emphasize practicals.
While the employment-led model has significantly improved the quality of skill acquisition, implementing student-led incubation businesses has not been without friction.
Skills are lacking. We need some capacity building programs for these instructors so that they can be able to deliver the way we want these programs to be delivered. Because teachers normally teach the way they are taught.
Business Pulse, brought to you by
In business tonight, the long-running question on whether coffee can grow in northern Uganda is being answered in the fields. More farmers are turning to commercial coffee, and the results are changing minds. In Omoro district, Pasco Osire started with a gamble, and today better farming practices are producing bigger beans. Agronomists say the northern heat can be managed with the right planting patterns.
About 3 years ago, Osire, a large-scale farmer in northern Uganda, took a gamble and planted 12 acres of coffee. He simply wanted to see if it is true that coffee does not do well in northern Uganda.
Now that we have seen that it does well, next season, in the first rains, we are going to do more 20 acres. My plan in Omoro here, where I am here, the plan is I want to make this entire place green with only coffee.
This was after a long-standing belief that due to the hot temperatures across northern Uganda, coffee cannot perform well. However, Lawrence Busulwa, an agronomist who is working closely with Pascal Osire, explains that with a change of the mindset, use of professionals, and employing better farming practices such as planting in a shaded environment, coffee does extremely well in northern Uganda.
They are like shrinking or falling because of the too much or too high temperatures. Otherwise, if there was shade, this one would be looking much better and much healthier.
Busulwa warns that the soil in the north has little organic matter and thus the need to plant nitrogen-fixing crops such as cereals within the coffee plantation.
If you really don't have enough nutrients in your soil, maybe start with, you can grow beans within the rows of the coffee. That can be another advantage. You can have the food from the beans or the money, and at the same time the beans will fix nitrogen into your soil.
Having followed the agronomist's advice, Pascal Osire's coffee plantation has become an inspiration in Omoro district.
I am here to witness that what he has been telling us, it is true. Coffee can work very well in our district.
In the West Nile city of Arua, the Secretary for Production, Rashid Onzima, says they have identified coffee as a cash crop that can uplift locals out of poverty.
It fetches a lot of money that can transform household income and build wealth in West Nile and the city in particular.
Karamoja, West Nile, and Acholi sub-regions feature prominently as the poorest regions in Uganda, and the leaders here see coffee and other perennial crops as the solution.
Those are crops which can do very well in West Nile. The only thing that I've seen is the preparation of the land. Because the land is a little bit dry and the rains are intermittent, you need to cultivate the land deep and prepare it for a long time.
Groundnut farmers in Namutumba district have a reason to smile following a bumper harvest of the widely grown leguminous fruit in the area. Farmers say their household incomes and financial stability have improved significantly due to the increased sale of groundnuts, a success they attribute to the stimulating agribusiness for youth empowerment initiative.
In Mupenzia, a village, Mazuba sub-county, Namutumba district, vast groundnut gardens stretch across nearly every corner of the community. Following the bumper harvest, our reporter found farmers actively harvesting the crop from different fields, signaling a productive season for the area. 27-year-old Richard Wawiri is among the prominent farmers benefiting from the enterprise. Wawiri says he ventured into groundnut farming 4 years ago after an unsuccessful attempt at the printing business in Kampala.
But that company I was working with, it reached an extent when work is not there, so I decided to come when I have nothing to do in town.
Wawiri, who planted 4 acres of groundnuts, expects to harvest more than 100 bags this season alone. The youthful farmer attributes his success to Saye project spearheaded by Heifer International Uganda, which mobilized young people in the area to embrace commercial agriculture as a viable source of livelihood.
Heifer through Saye project has helped us mobilize us. It has, in fact, has helped us even to love agriculture.
Under the project, the youth have received training in modern farming methods, access to high-yield seed varieties, fertilizers, and crucial market linkages.
Heifer has helped us, has linked us to big companies now so that they give us higher prices. In the village right now, they are giving 4,200, but as AgriNet, they are giving us 60,000 per kilo.
We have got a lot of skills from Saye project. That's why we have good yields here in Namutumba.
Despite the success, farmers note that post-harvest handling remains the major challenge. They are appealing to the government to support them with community groundnut processing machines.
Appeal to government that let the government support us with like a irrigation scheme so that we can irrigate our gardens, and then groundnut Allah, which can help us not even putting their transport to go and remove like those covers of GNATs.
Local leaders in Namutumba have commended the Saye initiative for complementing the parish development model in improving livelihoods and transforming communities.
They have trained them in record keeping, and you have been hearing Mzee saying Echibalo. So these boys, when they are given the seed capital by Heifer International, they sit down as groups and then they start saying, what can we do using this seed capital?
In sport tonight, Commonwealth Sport President Dr. Donald Lukare believes that the Commonwealth Forest Initiative launched in Mabira Forest in Buikwe district will support a greener Commonwealth Games legacy and restore the lost forest cover among member states.
All the Commonwealth member states were represented by the respective national flags, and 74 indigenous trees are set to be planted in Mabira Forest to represent the 74 nations and territories of the Commonwealth. The launch marks the beginning of an ambitious long-term environmental legacy program that seeks to connect all 74 Commonwealth nations and territories through forest restoration, climate action, biodiversity conservation, and youth engagement.
We want to green our sport, and we are part of the climate action framework, where we'd like to offset any of the carbon emissions that might arise out of our sporting activities.
That we plant trees, especially in degraded forests, like Mabira Forest, like Budongo Forest Reserve, all the central reserves in Uganda that have faced forest degradation.
Where every country that goes to the Commonwealth can be able to own a little bit of Mabira Forest.
The 2026 Commonwealth Games will take place in Glasgow, Scotland from July 23rd to August 2nd, 2026.
It was out of the Commonwealth Games that my mind changed, and I believe that I could go on to climb on the ladder to becoming a world champion. And for sure, the following year, 2019, I became a world cross-country champion and also a world champion. And also, I broke the 10 kilometers on the road world record.
Former Commonwealth Games champion Joshua Cheptegei is confident Uganda will put up a winning performance, despite him missing out alongside Jacob Kiplimo after crossing over to marathons.
For me, my expectations are really up there and high, because I really have a lot of belief in the young boys and girls who are going to represent the country and are also going to represent us. You know, I may not be there physically, but I'm there spiritually.
Cheptegei revealed this during an interaction with Her Excellency Lisa Chasney, the British High Commissioner to Uganda in Kapchorwa. Uganda will send 35 female and 18 male athletes, including 5 para-athletes who will represent the country across 10 disciplines.
Still in sport, young basketball players have missed out on a rare opportunity to watch some of Africa's best youth talent compete on home soil after FIBA moved the 2026 U18 Afro Basketball Zone 5 qualifiers from Uganda to Egypt due to the Ebola outbreak. Grassroots coaches say the tournament would have inspired and educated the next generation of players.
Schools continue to play a key role in nurturing sports talent across Uganda through physical education and organized competitions. From basketball and football to swimming and athletics, many young athletes are discovering and developing their talents at school level. For basketball coaches, Uganda's loss of hosting rights for 2026 FIBA Under-18 Afro-Basket Zone 5 qualifiers is a major disappointment. They say the tournament would have given young players a chance to watch elite youth basketball firsthand and learn from some of the continent's rising stars.
The tournament was postponed. It wasn't really good because such tournaments are a great inspiration to these children of this age. Well, when we focus on these children, we tell them to always look up to such people.
With these pandemics coming in, they really hit us hard in a way that they deny us such opportunities. Like this time, we would have had an opportunity of showing our children what is taking place outside Uganda.
The concerns were raised during the ongoing Kampala Junior Schools League, where pupils from Sir Apollo Kagwa schools are competing in various disciplines, including basketball and football.
Since I was young, because of seeing Shaquille O'Neal and LeBron James play in Lakes.
It's fun and it's enjoyable to play because we have a lot of teamwork.
But overall, better than us. We lacked a little bit of training, but we'll do better.
Beyond basketball, schools are also contributing to the growth of women's football. Since the arrival of women's football structures in 2015, most schools have embraced the development of girls' football programs.
Identify the talent of children, more especially in football and basketball, under a program called Talent Development Program.
They are trying to groom up a team that in 10 years from now, or 5, such that we can progress very well to replace those ones, the likes of Nasuna, Nalukeng, and so on and so forth. From here, I know they will join the academy.
The reason why I like football, because it is fun. I want to play with Kawempe Muzni.
Our schools have been good for nurturing talents for the kids. So for us, our main aim is to get them when they are still down and we nurture them up to their last stage.
Yamal honestly inspired me. He's at a very young age, he's playing with the all-time greats, and it's really amazing to see such a young player. Especially not coming from a rich family. It's really inspiring to see him playing the Champions Leagues and the biggest tournaments in the world.
Coaches believe parents, schools and community sports program remain the foundation for identifying and nurturing future national team stars. As grassroots competitions continue across the country, coaches hope more international events will return to Uganda and inspire the next generation of athletes.
The government of Uganda is committed to host one of the best African Union sports editions in 2031. The promise was made by Dr. Bernard Patrick Ogwell, the National Council of Sports.
The bid we want to host AFCON 2027. And by any standard, looking at the investment of government, we showcased, we made a presentation on the volume, over 2.5 trillion of Uganda money being invested in sports infrastructure alone was enough testimony that we deserve to bring the whole of Africa here. What we are constructing as a country are not mere playgrounds, are standard international training facilities which can host international sports festivals of the magnitude of the African Games. Makerere University, just across here, government has already released all the funding and the construction work is underway. If I'm not mistaken, it will come with a running track as well. So you can see that within the city, by 2031, Uganda will be more than equipped. For your information, Makerere Indoor Arena is even ready. If I'm not mistaken, it's even now being used. Government invested 5.4 billion there, if I'm to remind you, some years back. Pilipo Monde Stadium, Entebbe Cricket Oval, Oyema City Stadium, Oyema Indoor Arena, Akibo Olympic Stadium, which is all multi-purpose, all are reason enough. And I want to say, when it comes to the hotel facilities, it was also overwhelming that the kind of hotels we have in the country have been able to host world summits and championships and delegations.
Thank you very much for joining us for Live at 9 tonight. Canary, Samson and Sibia will be here to take you through the week. From me and the team, it's good night and enjoy your week.
Nenze bandeetera mulambo gwe simanyi nti baguttisa ki.
January 1st, 2026, Chikakanya village woke up to news of death.
Ekyamazima nange siyinza kakasa nti paatu yafa yekka.
5 Chinese nationals were arrested for murder.
Obusajja obwali bumpi bwe buti nga buli bumeka nabulaba.
A few days later,
the Chinese were released
with no further investigations.
Police terina kyetuyambye.
A case of an invisible hand retarding justice.
Taata wa Diana najja n'agamba nti babawadde million 5.
That is rumors.
Death in the quarry. Unheard victims.
Kirabika mulimu omunene. Omusango gwe ensonga lwaki gwakola ki?
NBS. Always. Family and friends. The route will take them past Portugal, Gibraltar, the Balearic Islands, Sardinia, Corsica, and finally Cannes on the Côte d'Azur in France. One big question is, how often will the yacht need to refuel?
Stand up for the environment, but you don't have to damage other people's property or put your own life at risk by gluing yourself to the freeway or anything ridiculous like that. Sorry, but that's just going too far.
The yacht chartering industry is also booming. It has a global revenue of